To open, let us recite the fireman's prayer. For those of you who know it, please join in. Let us pray. When I am called to duty, O God, wherever the flames may rage, give me the strength to save some life, whatever be its age. I save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout. Quickly and efficiently put the fire out. Amen.
Amen.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, you can take a seat if you like. My name is Joshua Finn. I'm president of the Oakfield Volunteer Fire Company. Tonight we're here to present some service awards, and especially for our longest active member, Robert Hilchey, who tonight we're going to be presenting with a watch for 50 years of active service. That is 50 years of active service. Buck still responds to calls. Ever since I've been here, he's been responding to calls. Ever since I've been in the volunteer fire service, Buck has been responding to calls. So tonight we're going to have a little celebration for that. The Oakfield Fire Department is moving forward. We're doing very well. I'm proud of all of you. We're making really good positive steps, and I'm really proud of all of us. I want to make a little mention to Andrew Pilk. If you please stand up, Andrew. Several months ago, we decided that we were going to make a motion that we were going to do some work to an upstairs area that we use for meetings, and we decided to make it a clubhouse area for our members. Andrew has put in dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of work by himself, with several other members helping, but Andrew's been taking the lead on this. We got official word today that we received a grant from the Home Depot Association Foundation of $6,000, which is huge. Andrew has also been instrumental in upgrading our light system in the entire facility. So I want to thank Andrew for all the work he's been doing, and everyone else who's been doing work for that. At this time, I'm going to hand it over to the chief.
All right. I know we did get word that Steve Hawley's running a little bit late, so we were changing our program a little bit because there was a fire in the city, and courtesy to the media, we were going to kind of change things up, and now we're kind of going back to the original format that we had laid out for today. So the first thing we wanted to do is recognize the members of the department real quick for their years of service. They reached the milestone at the 5-year mark. Okay, since our last installation dinner in 2019, we haven't been gotten together due to COVID, so we'd like to bring those members forward to recognize them for their 5 years of service. And if you're here, please come forward. Tyler Hamn, Jacob Matteson, Collin Scheiber, Andrew Steele is not here. And we also have John Matteson, who is a corporal in the U.S. Marines, who is with us today. He's on leave. He's technically still an active member with us and responds periodically. Then we have, for 20 years of service, we've got Chad Hilchey, Doug Moyels, and Randall Warner. If they will come forward, please. And for 25 years of service tonight, we have Pete Schreiber. We have 35 years with us tonight. We have Dan Luker and James Lundmark. Now we have one member that's reached the milestone of 45 years, and that would be Doug Hensel. So now we're on to our 50 years of service. And tonight we'd like to welcome all the dignitaries who've come out tonight again. We want to, Steve Hawley, who is on the way. Tim Yeager, who I'll assume he's heading to the structure fire in the city right now. He may be delayed. We have Chaplain Ed Spence with us tonight, and John Igo representing the village of Oakfield. Robert Hilchey joined the fire department November 1st, 1977. At which,
71.
71. Jeez, I got them all wrong, don't I?
Don't rob me.
You're gonna. I was only 10 at the time. In 1971, he held various positions with the fire department, leading up to being chief of the fire department. He was chief of the Oakfield Fire Department from 1979, 1980, and again in 1987 to 1992. He's been president of the Oakfield Fire Department in the year 2000, 2001, and again in 2005. He's held numerous board positions over his career with the fire department, up to and including last year, at which time he stepped down to let younger members take the lead in the department. Robert was a member of the ball stand committee, so the ball stand we have out there, he was a member that helped to build the ball stand and bring, what type of league was that? You brought slow pitch softball leagues into the village and into the fire department to raise money for the fire department. He also held a position for the fire advisory board as the chairman. And let's forget some of the major fires that he fought within the village, whether it's the freezing cold, the Main Street fire, and the Grinnell fire are some of the memorable ones that come to mind that he talks about quite often. So we want to thank Robert Hilchey for his 50 years of service within the department and the community. So if you please step forward.
Please stand. Thank you.
Let's get a post shot.
Which way? No, you're right. You didn't, you surrounded that. Good. Oh, yeah. Brad, come on up.
Brad.
Pete Scheiber. We'll get the officers and. Good.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I didn't expect this. I'll take it. It's been a pleasure to serve the community. I started off with my father, my uncle's grandfather, and I just filled what they taught me to do. It was part of our life. I'm a weak man, Daddy knows. But my sons have followed my footsteps. Brad was chief, and now Chad's assistant chief. I'm proud of these guys. Thank you. Okay. Yep.
He's got a few remarks he wants
All
to
right.
say in some history.
Centuries ago, one of Nephi's loved and respected prophet leaders taught his people to serve and love one another. This is before the advent of Jesus Christ. King Benjamin's words were emblazoned upon the heart of the people. I tell you these things that ye may learn wisdom, and ye may learn that when ye are of service of your fellow man, ye are in service of God. Tonight we thank Buck Hilchey for his 50 years of service with the Oakfield Fire Department and his community. He has served faithfully on almost every position within the department and took care of the firemen softball fields. For many of those years, he is helping his community and his fellow man for the power of good. He is married to his wife Robin and his two sons, along with his daughter-in-laws that are Chad and Lindsay Hilchey, Brad and Samantha Hilchey. I'm humbled to be in the presence of this man this evening in a quick prayer based on Scripture, Matthew chapter 5, verse 8 and 9. Let us pray. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Amen. Referring to the chapters, it is definitely a peacemaker. Buck is definitely a peacemaker. 50 years of turning chaos back into tranquility. Buck has given his all to this community, and as a former firefighter myself, I personally saw Buck in action, whether it be at the house fire, the MVA, or the wires down. You could always count on Buck to be carrying the day with his wisdom and leadership. Buck was never one to shy away from his calling. Buck was born on 10/28/1953 and serving since about the age of 18 or so. Now in Buck's family of brothers, Bill Hilchey was the oldest and followed the dream of becoming a lieutenant paramedic with the City of Batavia Fire Department, after working in a prior successful career and retiring. Followed by Jim, who became a Navy SEAL and later a volunteer fire department with Oakfield. Jim's son, Ronnie, became a career firefighter paramedic down in Virginia. Then comes Buck and his sons, who are both volunteer firefighters in Oakfield, and finally his youngest brother, John, who is also a volunteer firefighter with Oakfield. We certainly know service runs in his family. Buck's interest in the fire service started out at an early age with his dad, Al, who was also a volunteer firefighter in Oakfield. When Buck was asked while in his younger years, what does your dad do for the fire department, he would answer, Dad's a hoser. His brother Bill commented on this that it was hilarious because in that era, to be a hoser, this meant that you cheated people, which it was farthest from the truth within the family. But through the encouragement of his dad Al, might have been one of the motivating factors to service to his community. Buck decided that he was going to follow his father's footsteps as much as he could, and so it began serving in the Oakfield Fire Department.
So now we'd like to invite Steve Holly up. Buck, would you like to come up as well, please?
Come on down, Buck.
All right. I'll do that. You're welcome.
So I heard you started when you were 6 years old, plus 50 makes 56.
Yeah, there you go.
I have there's no Corinthian gold left in Albany, even though they keep searching for it in our pocketbooks. I have a New York State Assembly citation. I'll read most of the whereases, not all of them. The food's getting, I guess it's warm over there. Whereas this legislator has the privilege to recognize and pay tribute to individuals who have displayed a deep commitment to enhancing their communities and improving the state of New York. And whereas this legislator, that's me, is proud to honor on this 21st day of February 2022, Robert Buck Hilchey for 50 dedicated years of service to the Oakfield Volunteer Fire Department and the people of the village of Oakfield. Whereas upon joining the Oakfield Fire Department, Buck Hilchey has repeatedly demonstrated courage in the face of adversity when performing life-saving duties, from putting out large fires to responding to car accidents. Buck has become a model firefighter and is a positive example for his community. And whereas firefighters do more than protect their communities, they educate the public on fire protection, teaching people practical ways in which they can save themselves from danger by avoiding it entirely. Buck's work to promote the fire prevention helps keep our community safe. And whereas this legislator, again, is very pleased to have this opportunity to recognize Robert Buck Hilchey for his positive example of sacrifice and devotion on behalf of his community. The citizens of the village of Oakfield are better off because of his work with the Oakfield Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated. Now, therefore, be it resolved that as a duly elected member of the Assembly of the State of New York, I humbly offer my praise and gratitude to Robert Buck Hilchey in honor of a well-spent life of public service protecting our community as a firefighter in the Oakfield Volunteer Fire Department. Signed by myself, congratulations. Thank you to all the firemen for what you do for our communities. It's an unsung task, and they're volunteers these days, and getting fewer and far between. And I just want to thank all of you for what you do for all of us. Congratulations.
You might as well state it.
I gotta say one more thing. As I forgot my granddaughter. She is active.
I got it. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I have the honor today to present to you the proclamation from the New York Senate office from Senator Edward Rath III. In recognition of Robert Hilchey, aka Buck, whereas the purpose of this legislative proclamation is to honor an individual of the New York State whose purposeful endeavors serve to enhance the quality of life and community, and whereas citizens across our state and nation are inspired by the indebted to our noble volunteer firefighters who exhibit courage and bravery every day in the course of their duties, and whereas Robert Buck Hilchey has 50 years of service as an active volunteer firefighter in the Oakfield Fire Department, he will be recognized for his milestone on the department, with the department on the date of today, February 21st, 2022. And whereas ever since joining the fire department, he has been committed to serving his community, and whereas it takes special dedication and a special man, we all know you are kind of special, a strong desire to help others, and a tireless sense of self to forsake precious time with family and friends to respond to the signal of a neighbor in need. And whereas throughout his fire service career, Robert has freely given a lot of his time, and a lot of your time, and a lot of your talents for the benefit of this community, providing outstanding service and leadership. And whereas he has the support and brotherhood of his fellow volunteer firefighters throughout his tenure, now therefore let it be resolved that I, Edward A. Rath III, representing the 61st Senatorial District, do hereby issue this proclamation in honor of Robert Hilchey upon his 50 years of service as an active volunteer firefighter with the Oakfield Fire Department, and wish him the very best.
Thank you.
There I come. I served kind of two positions. I've served with Buck for well over 20 years now, and I can't tell you all the great things he's done throughout the years that I've been here and witnessed myself. But our mayor, who was going to deliver this, is out of town for a couple weeks, and I was asked to fill in for this. So the village has offered a resolution number 5 of 2022. A resolution honoring the 50 years of dedicated fire service of Robert Buck Hilchey and his service to the citizens of the village of Oakfield. Whereas we are here today to express our appreciation to Robert Buck Hilchey and honor him for his distinguished 50 years as a volunteer fireman with the Oakfield Fire Department and dedicated service to the residents of the village of Oakfield. And whereas Buck joined the fire department on November 1st, 1971, and has held various positions with the department. He has served as president of the board of directors, fire department chief, and a member of the department's board of directors. Whereas these years of service have been marked by exemplary dedication to the best interests of the community, and Buck has worked constantly for the betterment of the Oakfield Fire Department, which contributes to the health, safety, and comfort of this community. And whereas the trustees and mayor want to express our sincere appreciation to Buck for his loyalty to the village of Oakfield and his continued service as a volunteer fireman for the Oakfield Fire Department. Whereas the trustee and the mayor of the village of Oakfield, New York, hereby adopts this resolution to formally recognize and honor Robert Buck Hilchey for 50 years of service as an Oakfield Fire Department volunteer fireman, and to the citizens of the village of Oakfield. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the trustees of the village of New York, of village of Oakfield, New York, hereby adopt this resolution on the 14th day of February 2022. Be it further resolved that the trustees and the mayor of the village of Oakfield urge all citizens to join us in congratulating Buck on an outstanding record of service with the Oakfield Fire Department and expressing our sincere appreciation to him for his unwavering dedication and service to the village of Oakfield. We wish him many continued years of service, happiness, and good health. Signed by the trustees and the mayor.
I'm Chad, this wonderful man's kid. That's why I'm here today. Thanks. I'm here to present my father to FASD, the Firemen's. If you don't know what FASD is, it's Firemen's Associations of the State of New York. The Firemen's Association of the State of New York is a proclamation honoring Robert Hilchey. Whereas Robert Hilchey has completed a 50-year term as the Oakfield Fire Department, and whereas a member of the Firemen's Association, the State of New York, wish to recognize and honor Robert Hilchey for his service. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Firemen's Association of the State of New York extends its congratulations and a thanks to Robert Hilchey, presented on this day, the 21st of February, 2022. Congratulations from FASD. Thank
You want to do that now? Yeah. Or after?
Nope. Do you want to say anything further, Buck?
No, I basically said all I really wanted to say, except for I forgot my granddaughter. But, you know. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. Good job, buddy. Thank you.
Yep.